Speaking of Me Too, we talked about this a little yesterday. Alyssa Milano sent out a tweet which launched this huge social media campaign. It's all over Facebook and Twitter. She said, and this is in response to the Harvey Weinstein scandal. It turns out he raped like every aspiring actress in all of Hollywood. And this is a widespread problem in Hollywood for a very long time. Now it's all coming to light. People are talking about the horrific incidents that have happened to them. And she tweeted out and said, if you've been sexually harassed or assaulted, write "Me Too" as a reply to this tweet. There's the problem. There are a few problems with this slacktivism, with this hashtag activism. But the first is in her launching it. She says, if you've been sexually assaulted or harassed, those are categorically different things. Those are categorically different. They're both bad. We should stop both, I suppose. One is a heinous crime. One is assaulting somebody's soul as well as their body, violating their liberty. And the other is being rude and untoward, and maybe the guy at the office winks at his secretary. That's all terrible too. Quite different than rape, and to conflate those two is offensive and disrespectful toward the victims of actual rape. Now, men are virtue signaling back, because that's how the internet works, with the hashtags hashtag I will and hashtag how I will change. So here are just a few of them. Hashtag I will promote women's voices, believe survivors, and work to end rape culture and purity culture, two sides of the same patriarchal coin. How I will change, I will listen to women more closely, seeking to understand before seeking to be understood. Then, if it helps, I will act. I will listen more, learn more, acknowledge more, and support more. I'm willing to have more courageous conversations. Use those courageous words. How courageous. How I will change means acknowledging my own capacity for harmful behavior and taking responsibility for unlearning that toxicity. I don't really take issue with the premise here that men can be dogs and they should behave themselves. I take issue with the supposed surprise, the shock, the earnestness of the tweeters. I think it's mostly feigned. I think it's fake, but some might be real because these people are utopians and they think that mankind can be perfected with just a few more regulations, a little less freedom, a little more effort. That isn't going to happen, and living in delusion will help nobody. So let's dispel some of the delusion around this. We begin with the courageous conversations. What is courageous about echoing the dominant cultural meme? What is courageous about saying, you're always right, I'm always wrong, whatever the left tells us is true, even if the statistics are spurious, that's true, I'll believe anything. There isn't a rape culture in the United States. That was one of the allegations. There is a rape culture. There is no rape culture in the United States. Rape happens because we're fallen people, and crime happens, and murder happens, and awful things happen, and will always happen, because we're not going back to the Garden of Eden. This isn't an earthly paradise, and human nature isn't perfectible. That's going to happen. But you know what a rape culture is Pakistan. That's a culture that institutionalizes, and through its own cultural mores, creates venues in which rape is approved of. That is a rape culture. There is no approval of rape in the United States. To tweet the trending hashtag alleging rape culture undermines the rape culture, right? It undermines your own claim. It's a defeater for your ridiculous argument. The hashtags too are empty virtue signaling. It is saccharine. It's slacktivism that accomplishes nothing. It reminds me of, I don't know if people remember this, Coney 2012. Do you remember in 2011 or 2012 there was this meme?
I remember, Michael.
Do you remember this? It was everywhere. Coney 2012. He was some warlord in Uganda, and some filmmaker said, we're going to stop Coney this year. And then every little dummy on Twitter and Facebook posted about it, and they felt they were doing something. They felt they were accomplishing something. They accomplished nothing. He's still at large. It is useless. It is to make yourself feel good, to give the impression of doing something. I've heard this described about smoking cigars, and I will acknowledge it. The nice thing about smoking is you feel like you're doing something, but you're really just sitting down and not doing anything. That's slacktivism. Michelle Obama did this. She held up a sign when those girls were kidnapped by Boko Haram in Nigeria. The sign said, no joke, hashtag bring back our girls. That's the sign. This is the courageous piece of paper hashtag. Your husband is the president of the United States. If you want to bring back the girls, you can bring back the girls. Now, perhaps the issue isn't as simple as all of that. Perhaps there are geopolitics at play that complicate things. Don't pretend that your hashtag is doing anything. It's accomplishing absolutely nothing. Also, don't tweet about it. If you're a guy, don't tweet, I will, I'm with you. These guys, these like fake feminist, sensitive, earnest, nice guys, they're like the creepiest guys around. Do not, but they are creeps. I would not let my fiance near any of them. They are women. Do not believe them. The feminist men protest too much, methinks. Next, if you've been raped, go to the police. Go to the police. Do not go to your professor. Do not go to your administrator on campus. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. It is a serious crime. It is possibly the most serious crime. If it has happened, make sure that it is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We have a system for prosecuting crimes. It's called the criminal justice system. It's not the sort of crime to be dealt with by campus tribunals. This leads into another aspect, though. We have a criminal justice system to protect the rights of the accusers, but also to protect the rights of the accused. So the people who have had a crime committed against them, and also those that they accuse of doing it. These campus tribunals have been absolutely demolishing the due process rights of the accused in countless cases. But a lot of the tweets that have been coming with "I will" or this is what I will do," they say that we'll always believe people who allege that they have been raped. Hillary Clinton said this during the campaign, which is quite ironic because she smeared the people who alleged rape against her own husband. Someone might ask, why would anyone make up a rape? Why would anyone allege that they've been raped if they haven't? I don't know. It's pretty weird, man, but it does happen. In just the last 8 years, there have been 5 major instances of this, presumably many others. There was obviously the Rolling Stone UVA rape hoax. This was a major story in Rolling Stone. A girl alleged she had been gang raped at a fraternity. It didn't happen. The story absolutely fell apart. They had to retract the whole thing. At UC Santa Cruz a few years ago, a girl paid someone on Craigslist to beat her up, and then she alleged that she had been raped. That also fell apart. In 2013, a University of Wyoming student posted a rape threat against herself in a campus Facebook group. That also was uncovered, but not before it caused a lot of anxiety to the campus community and a lot of other people. 2009, a Hofstra student had consensual sex with 5 guys at once. Her boyfriend found out and said, "You look like you've just had sex with a lot of guys." And she said, "I've been raped." He said, "Go to the police." She said, "No, I don't need to." And then they went to the police anyway. They arrested these guys. They threw them in jail only because there happened to be a video of this event. Why? Don't want to know. What were these guys let off the hook for it? Because the video showed that it was consensual. But nevertheless, the allegation was made. It could have ruined these guys' lives. In 2013, a University of Florida student falsely claimed she was raped in a parking lot. Then she said it was false, but intended to show a greater truth. So it was a complete lie, but then the lie was meant to serve the greater truth. And then later she admitted it's because her parents were pressuring her to graduate from college, and she probably wasn't going to do that. Conservative columnist George Will was accused of not taking rape seriously in a letter by 4 Democratic senators because he made these exact same points. And he responded in exactly the right way. He said he takes sexual assault and rape much more seriously than they do. Some would prefer it if professors and campus tribunals dealt with this crime. Some would prefer it if judges, juries, and executioners dealt with it. We in the latter category are taking this issue much more seriously, and the people who are engaging in frivolous slacktivism are doing nothing but hurting a very serious issue.